Alrighty, you guys, welcome back to a brand new episode here on
The ankle.
Hey Ember.
I hate you like I'm young.
This video is so raw, you guys. Fuck. Fuck me!
That's when I noticed the cold breeze.
The ankle's a little mean.
The ankle, the elbow, the fucking little tiny stick that he probably has is gonna post it. I'm just so fucking done.
So, good day, you guys. Hope everyone's having a beautiful, wonderful Wednesday. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments, like and subscribe, a couple. So, for today's video, we're diving back into Nikki T. Give them a like, give them a subscribe, you guys. And we're checking out the worst of QLR. Part 2. And this is her autism non-diagnosis. Now, I'm glad that we're taking a look at this because personally, I don't know everything there is revolving around this conversation, specifically with Rosie. I have a feeling that there's a lot of people in the greater areas of Gore World that aren't too familiarized with it either. Because I do understand that, like, again, objectively, it looks bad that we sit here and criticize her about certain aspects. There is a reason why people give her a hard time when it comes to her own specific not being diagnosed. That's not saying anything towards anyone else that might experience the hardship of finding a diagnosis or a doctor to take them seriously. That's not what I'm talking about. We're talking about Rosie, all right? And there's a lot of things that she has said over the past that make people feel this way and this strongly to say, like, no, girl, you gotta stop. So I'm glad that we're gonna get caught up on that. Hopefully, it'll make the picture a little bit clearer, but I'm yapping. Thank you so much, you guys. Hope everyone's having a beautiful week once again. And with that, let's not waste any more time. Let's dive right on into this. Shall we? This is November to December 2023. Okay.
I believe that I have undiagnosed learning disabilities, as well as undiagnosed autism. I panic.
What would the undiagnosed learning disabilities be? I thought she was diagnosed with some stuff. So what's the undiagnosed?
A bag of marshmallows. There are no resources for autistic adults that are late diagnosed. They don't
No, I don't think that's necessarily true.
exist. I have an idea of what I think the doctor's going to tell me, but obviously I'm not the doctor and I could be proven wrong. I'm probably autistic. I'm autistic enough for a diagnosis. Yeah, I'm depressed. So, inconclusive. I had like a full meltdown. Because I'm autistic.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Okay. I also want to throw it out there. I think it's a little problematic that Rosie also discredits her own anxiety diagnosis, because anxiety can make us function in non-neurotypical ways. Doesn't mean that you're neurodivergent, but that your brain, because of the trauma and everything it's been through, processes things in that way.
I've been really anxious because tomorrow's like a lot. There's so many emotions because the first appointment is for the
Of course, we're up at 3 a.m.
psychologist, and that's to get my full testing for everything. Because I believe that I have undiagnosed learning disabilities as well as undiagnosed autism. I would like to just get reconfirmation on ADHD. I've been.
Oh, so she hasn't even been diagnosed with ADHD. Okay. I might be mishearing that.
Treated for it and been working on it for many years now, but since we're doing the full workup, may as fucking well. So I'd like to just get like.
Okay, well, if she's been getting treatment for it and whatnot, then I'm gonna let it slide.
Everything documented and confirmed. And I am so scared because if you interacted at all with like autistic internet, you've watched autistic creators, you've watched people like go through their own testing process, you've watched the women or AFABs of my age range talking about their experiences of not getting diagnosed. I resonate so heavily with those experiences. And I get a lot of shit on the internet for talking about being autistic as a self-determined autistic.
Right. I find it a little bit more inherently problematic that you don't see the issue with that. I mean, like, I truly, like, if Rosie on the side wants to believe deep down that she's autistic, I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck. But dude, don't be coming online and spouting it.
Because I'm not a doctor, so I didn't diagnose myself. But I spent my whole life struggling. It feels
That doesn't mean you're autistic, sweetheart. A lot of us struggle throughout all of our life, and a lot of us struggle with social cues, interacting with other people, and just maintaining even our basic emotions. That doesn't mean we're autistic. And I'm saying we because that was very much my experience too.
like every single day I was being gaslit by the world around me. And especially because I had a brother who was diagnosed and got the treatment that he needed. And
I don't know, I feel like that's really the heart of it right there.
there was a couple points in my childhood where I tried to bring it up, and I was to my parents and immediately dismissed. And to this day, my parents still don't really acknowledge that at all. And
I just find that odd. I don't know, that dynamic.
they really won't until I get diagnosed. And that is the main motivator I have for pursuing a diagnosis and spending this money to get this diagnosis. It's not to rub it in my parents' face, as some people have tried to
Well, you said that.
convey me to say from my podcast interview. And I had a lot of expectations placed on me that I couldn't meet.
She said that multiple times, not just in that interview.
And no one knew why, because I'm autistic. And I don't even need a doctor to tell me I'm autistic at this point. Truthfully, the reason I'm pursuing a diagnosis
No, actually, you do.
is just because I want my parents to believe me. Yeah. And I've been kind of transparent about that. At this point, they still don't. And I understand why. That would require a lot for them to consider about what happened in my childhood.
Oh, because you think...
I mean, listen, I don't know what happened with her parents, but Rosie, would it also be hard for you to grapple with the fact that you're possibly not? Because it seems to be a struggle you have.
Because my brother's autistic, okay, and he was diagnosed when we were children, and I was not. Now,
I will say, her brother being autistic lends heavily. But girl, we see the amount of money she makes, and even off of 2,000 to 3,000 views, depending on the month, that could be $100. Save up if it's that big of a deal for you.
To set it in a quippy way, I didn't expand into it.
Okay, well, maybe that's something you should learn to expand on, because you can't just say things and not expect, kind of a snapback.
When I say that I'm getting it because I want to prove it to my parents, it's because I know I'm autistic. And I don't need a doctor to tell me that. I'm at a place in life where I feel like it would be more beneficial for me to get the diagnosis and be able to unpack that and know for a fact that I'm not just making it up.
Yeah, I think you need to work on that, actually, that driving factor for it, because I would raise the question of what would a late diagnosis of this kind, and I mean, it's not going to be like they find that she's severely autistic, can't work or something like that. So, sorry if it sounds scummy, if it's not for benefit reasons, why bother? And we've mentioned it plenty of times. In this political climate, I'm not sure you want that slapped on you. If you can, not.
It's not all figment of my imagination. And I am in a position in life where I have good enough health care that I can access that. And
Okay.
a lot of people don't. I was warned that this was going to be a really expensive process, but I've been hospitalized a couple times. I've gotten tons of medications. I've gone to countless appointments this year. But, all these additional copays that I thought I was going to have, I don't have to have, because thankfully this is happening at the end of the insurance year. I'm excited, I'm hopeful, and I'm just really scared that I'm going to have an experience that so many people have, because I don't know the psychologist. She works in the same clinic as my psychiatrist, and he's awesome. But this is also the same company that paired me with a psychiatrist prior to my YouTube channel that I had a horrific experience with. I've been waiting for this day, and I'm not going to walk out of there with a diagnosis. This is the preliminary meeting, and all I can do is breathe through it. I'm scared shitless about tomorrow and how all this is going to go. I don't know when I'm going to post this. Buckle up. This is probably going to be a months-long journey of getting a diagnosis. Getting an autism diagnosis is not easy at all. It's something that requires a lot of luck, a lot of...
Luck? Bruh. See, I just don't buy that. I don't. Sorry, call me naive, but I have a very generalized faith in healthcare workers. People are human and humans make mistakes. So I'm not excusing that. But like, holy fuck.
Self-reflection and understanding yourself and advocating for yourself. And
Especially these specialists. Specialists. Like, this is what they do all day, every day, dude. I'm gonna trust a professional's opinion more. I'm sorry. If that makes me such a terrible person to Rosie, then so fucking be it. I trust medical and science professionals. Ugh.
in 2020 was when I kind of had a breakthrough because I didn't know it at the time that I was fighting burnout and I was going through some traumatic shit. I was isolated, living in a camper in a family friend's front yard for 7 months. And
of course you were. No, actually, of course you were, Rosie. God. So what does she want us to be? Like, that her autism makes it so she can't have a job? Along with her chronic pain and everything else? I don't want to make it seem that I'm perpetuating this towards everyone. I'm just saying this for Rosie. I think she is just physically and mentally lazy as fuck. She doesn't want to unpack her own shit, so she would rather slap a label on it than address how she acts, how she treats people, and shit like that. I mean, my God.
I was also like going through an identity crisis and coming to terms with realizing that
because even if you're autistic, you can still do all those things.
I had been autistic and that all these things did apply to me, researching not just like random videos on TikTok. Like, I feel like listening to firsthand people's experiences really helped me a lot.
On TikTok.
But also reading research articles, understanding different aspects of autism, different research that's come up in the past 5 to 10 years. The research that was available to my mom, the research that was out there, it did not align with the presentation of autism that I have. The presentation of my symptoms.
Okay, that is fair. That is fair. The concept or idea image of autism was very different even in like the 90s, early 2000s.
Are not only sometimes contradictory, but just very different than someone who is like just autistic. And so I didn't have access to my therapist. I had already done about, I want to say 2 to 3 years worth of EMDR at this point in my life. I
decided not to edit out this upcoming part because it's a real-time example of me experiencing an emotional flashback and quickly using internal coping skills to push through it. Okay, for some reason I thought this was Nikki talking to us.
I not only used EMDR tactics by myself, to help me cope, like when I was having flashbacks, panic attacks, things like that, when I needed to just cope through it.
I had a very fast flash of me laying in my bed area spiraling and could fully feel the intensity of emotions, but was able to shut it down by identifying it, acknowledging it, and releasing it. You know what? Do what you gotta do. If this is your process, I respect it, but what a fucking cornball. Very, very dramatic.
I'll be real with y'all. I just had a flashback to the camper when I said that.
You relived a memory? Oh my God.
I just had an emotional flashback for like...
This would be impossible without my years and years of trauma specialized therapy. So she used to be a lot worse than she even is now with all this, huh? Mind you, a lot of this shit has been deleted. Wonder why.
A hot second, so I had to breathe through it. Sorry. I not only use EMDR tactics on myself, but I've been a part of these specific autistic inclusivity Facebook groups for years now. And there's so many resources out there now that just didn't exist
1 week later.
There are no resources for autistic adults. And so I used that pediatric autistic research in conjunction with what is a technique.
Pediatric seems a little problematic there. You're not a child.
Trauma therapy called reparentification. I did some things to basically help me feel childlike again.
And you know what? I was being really hesitant to say it, but I kind of already see the groundwork being laid with, like, age regression in her relationship with Remy. Just with how she acts, right?
Learning how to accommodate my sensory needs. Being the person that now I have no problem going in public with my sunglasses on and my headphones on my ears, even if they're turned off, just to muffle the noise. And
okay, that doesn't mean you're autistic, girl. Sometimes I put my AirPods in and don't play anything. Like, you'd be surprised how many people just tune stuff out.
Lower the sensory inputs, less likely to end up getting like ramped up and needing to have a meltdown. I've learned
Okay, you need to learn how to control your emotions.
more how to like cope through these aspects and restructure my boundaries and allow myself to be things I was always told I was not. I was always told that I was a dramatic kid, that I was very social, that I was talkative. I was told these things over and over and over and over and over, like ad nauseum. Anytime I tried to express that I didn't always feel that way, anytime I tried to express when I was experiencing like nonverbalness or anything like that, I was told I was wrong. I was told I was lying. I was told these things to me that weren't true. The people around me.
I'm so confused by this.
Did not understand who I was. And it just boils down to that. I'm not mad at my parents.
It's not that like I mistrust that Rosie doesn't know who she is. You know, like I kind of think like Rosie's got a firm grasp on who she is as an individual, but I think she's so fucking easily influenced that, you know, she catches an idea for something, she's gonna run with it.
For that, I tried to tell them that like the research didn't exist for them. I saw how hard my mom fought for my brother. So in a way, that's both a really affirming thing and a really hurtful thing, right? You were to put yourself in the position that I was in. Because on one hand, clearly she cares and she thought, you know, she would want to do what was best for her kids.
I'm still so confused, dude.
And in the same breath, she always would say how like she never felt like she knew what to do with me. And it was because she was treating me like a neurotypical kid when I wasn't. And that's the bottom line.
But why? I don't know, dude. I don't know. I don't trust necessarily that like her parents would have two completely separate ways of treating these kids growing up.
Really struggled to make and keep friends. Most of the friends I ended up making were the kind of friends that turned around and picked on me. Became obsessed with learning about social skills and learning about socialization and communication and, you know, in my writing and stuff. I talk a lot about that show, Lie to Me. I was so obsessed with that show. It felt like it was a real life superpower that I could understand these micro expressions, just not as a fact, but just to guide me through the landscape.
You sound heavily traumatized, sweetie. I'm trying to be gentle about this. I really am. She just sounds heavily fucking traumatized. And traumatized by other people's reactions to her, how she's been treated in the past, which is totally understandable. I don't know.
Hell, that was middle school and high school that I so desperately wanted to connect to and understand and just couldn't. And the friends that I did make, none of the motherfuckers were neurotypical, okay? Like, why is it that I make these friends and then I end up finding out they're autistic? Like, it happened 6 times for sure, if not more than 6 times throughout my high school experience. Or, like, and then a couple people, like, after high school, I ended up finding out later they found out they were autistic. And it's because we gravitated towards each other. It's not my parents.
I think neurodivergent people do, yes. And neurodivergence is a very big umbrella for a lot of different things.
It's fault that the research wasn't there for them, but it wasn't my fault that I didn't get my needs met and that I genuinely believed that I was possessed by some demon or evil in some way. I think.
Okay, well, that's your own religious shit. I definitely wouldn't say that that's the generalized kind of like vibe pushed towards autistic people. My God.
Throughout a lot of my life until very recent years, I have kind of always carried a victim card. There is a reason.
Yeah, that's obvious.
I left high school at 500 pounds, and it's never.
Damn. Did she lose any of that weight?
Just because I liked food, obviously. That was an aspect of it. For me, in that stage of my life, it was.
So you think it's because you're autistic?
More so about that victimhood, that level of. All right, have you kind of accepted your reality? Have you accepted that you can't have your cake and eat it? The experience of like doing the podcast interview and
she said, watch me on the cake.
seeing the reaction of me as a person really caused me to take a step back and like reevaluate who and why I am. Because I really didn't believe myself to be a victim or in the victim mentality when I gave that interview, but I watched it back a couple times and I eventually realized that I have
Do we think we're still not kind of there?
this like narrative in my head of what my lifeline has been, like the events in my life, and that narrative is my trauma timeline. But the way that I presented it was within like the old narrative I had for myself beyond the past like couple years, you know. And I am still learning and still growing and trying to dig through the decades of this, the decades of putting it off, of accumulating the weight, of the suppression of pain, of the unhealthy coping skills, so on, so on, so on. And so for me at this point, it's like, I'm trying to just like get off the pot, like, you know, should I get off the pot, right? I'm trying to.
I don't think that's what we're doing here, but okay.
The mood because I've been a little too serious for a little too long. Why do we have to take our emotions seriously when we can deflect with comedy?
I think she's just annoying, not autistic.
But I need to get some options, and I need to get a team that, you know, can help tell me what I need to do. And I need to be willing to listen, and I need to be humble, and I need to
Well, yeah, I think that part might be hard.
not assume that I know better, but I need to be informed. I need to advocate for what's best for me. I don't know what that is, but it's not what I'm currently doing, and it's not what I've been doing. I've been really anxious to talk about autism on YouTube because I knew this appointment was coming up, and people are really brutal about it on the internet. If you don't have,
Why do you say it like that? Like, I knew this was going to get brought up. Maybe we shouldn't be saying these things in the first place. Or say, hey, listen, I was in the wrong. I don't feel that way anymore. I won't say it again. Like, hey.
diagnosis, and then once you are diagnosed, then they start treating you like a child and dehumanizing you and acting really shitty, or they're, you know, you're cool people.
What? I feel like you're doing the generalizing here, girl, also. You're casting these medical professionals as things you don't even know them. Like...
Right? It's one or the other. Unfortunately, ableism is like cool on the internet. Just cool on the internet. Just
gross.
some losers. I don't have as much time as I'd like.
I think that kind of reaction was also gross, Rosie.
To debrief, but I just disconnected the over hour and a half long call I had with my psychologist, Dr. D. I really like her. We had a long conversation, reviewed a lot of information. She told me that
she really likes her now until she tells her, oh, you're not autistic.
She agrees that I probably am / fit the criteria for being autistic. I'm going to be scheduling the testing, and it sounds like it's all going to get done before the end of the year. So all the testing I'm getting done is going to be covered by insurance based on what she...
It's scheduled for several hours on November 9th, about an hour after this conversation. What?
Told me it's going to be 3 or 4 hours of testing and then a follow-up appointment to go over the results. I'm going to go in for in-person testing, and before the end of the year, I should have my answers. I feel really validated. Updates to come.
Something's gonna go wrong, though.
2 days before my assessment, my psychologist recommended that I stop taking my ADHD medication 4 days before the appointment. Or I asked her to contact my psychiatrist to make sure that he knows that. So he actually called me like the same day. He was like, yeah, I want you to actually wean off of it. So I weaned off of it for 4 days. 10X has like changed my life. Anytime I'm talking to an ADHDer, I'm like, listen, you...
ADHDer. Good God.
Really should look into 10X. I texted my therapist today. I almost texted her at 4 a.m. and then I stopped myself and I was like, maybe I'll text her tomorrow. But I texted her because...
Tomorrow? You mean... What, when you finally go to bed and wake up?
At like 4 o'clock in the morning. I don't know how else to say this other than to say it. But, like, I panic ate a bag of marshmallows because I'm in the trenches right now. I'm not like giving up or trying to make excuses. This is just like my reality. This is what I'm dealing with. This is what I'm going through. I'm very overwhelmed by my life right now, and I'm...
Sorry, I'm not laughing at that. I'm still just imagining her down in a bag of fucking marshmallows, dude. What the fuck? What?
Not really doing too much. And in my day-to-day life, besides trying to work and rest, as much as I talk about that assessment and that process and like wanting to show it to my parents, I mean, like, for one, I live with my parents, just in case people aren't aware of that. And
Oh, don't worry, I think we all assume.
so like I'm not like estranged from them. I never said that like they don't care. It's just they don't get it. And I don't think they understand the magnitude of it. I don't think that they understand how having to accept this reality that I am someone who's autistic, what that implicates for what my childhood looked like and their role in it. And
But Rosie, Listen, I understand we all come to terms with our past in different ways, and it's a slow process, okay? I ain't saying that it's just something you're going to think one day and it's going to happen overnight. However, your childhood and how you may or may not have been treated in it really does not have that major of an effect on your current day. You have to process things differently, but that doesn't mean that like it's this super impactful thing. And especially to drudge up the past, um as you've said, really just to kind of stick it to your parents, like what's that going to do for you? What's that going to do for you in the absolute long run?
I mean, I don't think I've said this on YouTube, but I've said this multiple times. If I was them, I wouldn't want to accept it either
Because I fear that, like, just as people, we really want full closure on things, and it's a hard pill to swallow, but the more you get comfortable with not having closure on certain situations, I think the better you can move on for yourself.
I lived that life too. Unlike a lot of people in my generation, my parents like actually went to therapy for an extended period of time and bettered themselves in ways most millennials my age don't get to experience.
Okay, yeah, period. That's a huge fucking privilege.
And
Parents that'll even consider therapy, dude.
so I don't like to judge up aspects of my life that no longer apply to who they are.
Okay, so then why would having this diagnosis apply to that if that's no longer who they are?
To one, like try to paint myself as like a victim, or to paint them as villains, or to garner sympathy. Like I don't want any of that shit. So what good?
I don't know, I think you do. I think you kind of do. Because anytime you get criticized, you bring up these things, and then, oh, we're just supposed to magically back off.
What is bringing up those details really do besides provide context to my childhood? And it is hard for me to talk about aspects of my diagnosis and getting this sorted without bringing up aspects of how I was treated as a child and contributed to a lot of my issues in developmentally speaking, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and otherwise. Because
What?
I don't want to be held as who I was in my worst moments. I've had those moments. You know, we are all the villain in someone else's story somewhere along the line. And I'm just trying to get through this life without being a terrible, horrible person to people that don't deserve the kind of treatment, you know. I'm not in a great headspace.
Okay, again, I don't know how an autism diagnosis would stop you from doing that, but okay. If anything, I think she, again, would just use it as an excuse. She'd get mean and then instantly snap out of it and be like, I'm autistic. Sorry.
I feel like I'm buzzing underneath my skin again. I hate this feeling. I explain it to people like, I feel like I have TV static white noise under my skin and it just like won't go away. The epitome of sex appeal over here.
Ew, what the fuck?
I'm anxious, yo. Like,
Oh, this is assessment day. Alright, we're getting the full backstory here. I don't ever verbally address it here, but I have a lot of labored breathing during the rest of this vlog from fighting panic and anxiety. Okay. Well, I mean, the breathing's kind of always labored, Rosie, but I'll hear you out.
straight up, I'm anxious as shit right now. I've got 3 to 4 hours of testing to do today. Don't know what to expect. As I've talked about my reasons for doing this, I realize that I haven't been giving enough emphasis to myself, that like I'm doing this for me and just really wanting that confirmation of what I know of myself to be true. And I keep thinking about like,
Okay, again, if you know it to be true, then why do we need all this? It seems like you've already started implementing ways of learning, at least, on how to cope with these feelings. Why do we need all this? I mean, she's got the healthcare, so like, yeah, you might as well, I guess.
like what this is gonna mean like once it's all said and done, and how like I'll feel about it, and like what it would mean to have a diagnosis. And I realized that not a whole hell of a lot's gonna change.
Period. It would revolve around how you decide to maneuver.
There are no resources for autistic adults that are late diagnosed.
Okay, now you're full of it.
They don't exist. But I think it'll help in my pursuit of
See, I just don't buy that. I just don't.
therapy and treatment of myself, and I think it'll help in just having the confirmation in what I already know of myself. It'll be really validating to have it documented and known that I am making up how hard life has been for me. I've made it this far and I've overcome
Life can also be extremely hard, and you don't have autism, Rosie.
this much in spite of things like this. Not just the trauma, but, I'm specifically talking about the autism. And I'm
What did that say?
trying to remain as unmasked as possible. Like, I'm already realizing I'm starting to try to put on a front here. Not saying the right words. I'm just trying to protect myself, really, because that's what masking is for autistics. And so I'm going to try my best to remain unmasked for this assessment and just be my most authentic, honest, blunt self. And because masking isn't necessarily about deceiving or lying at all. It's just trying to blend in and behave in ways that are more socially acceptable, and I'm a very high masking individual.
Okay, again, I don't think that's exclusive to autism.
I have been since childhood. I didn't understand that or know that for many years until very recently, past few years specifically. And I've been unmasked on the internet before in videos and stuff, but when I'm being more upbeat and chipper and hey guys, I guess I feel like that's me, just it's still me, right? I'm not lying or.
Rosie, those things can also very much be affected by mental health. Not neurodivergency. I don't know. I feel like she's been given answers, and instead of following the routes that she has been given, she wants something that is more complicated, more of a end all be all, huzzah, this was it this whole time. And it doesn't always have to be something so quote unquote severe. It can be as seemingly simple as anxiety. Anxiety is still extremely complex in how it manifests in different people.
Being someone I'm not. I'm just trying to be, I guess, more palatable.
Okay. Yeah, you're annoying. So?
To figure out. And
that doesn't mean you're autistic.
That's one of the reasons why I'm doing this, and I'm gonna go inside now. God, I feel like I'm gonna throw up.
I think it's because she knows what's coming. Oh, and look at her. She's got the full getup on today.
So I was told 12:30, but I guess it's because they wanted me here early because my appointment isn't even until 1. No one told me that.
Oh, you poor thing.
I'm in a waiting room by myself. This is how I show up to appointments that I'm anxious for. No shame. I wish I wasn't so scared.
Yeah, I don't know. It's odd.
Hey, y'all. Honestly, I don't know how much I'm going to record right now.
Oh, she's pissed.
I don't know if you can see it on my face, but I am mentally, emotionally, and physically exhausted right now. Halfway through the testing, I ended up crying because I had such a bad headache from it. She turned on the lights.
She must have really had to be using that brain for once. Sorry, that was mean.
That helped a lot, but I got so overwhelmed. I am just beyond exhausted, and it's really weird because it was just stuff at one point, the very first thing they did was they had these blocks that had different colored sides. Some of them were half colors, some of them were solid.
What? Oh, this is so much. For adults, we do some standard cognitive. Okay, it's all the testing stuff.
You had to recreate these patterns on a screen. You had to look at certain figures and draw once they were off the screen for 10 seconds. They had me doing math problems, word problems, tons of stuff. And the biggest thing that was notable to me in the moment was they were having me read off she would say letters and numbers, and I had to repeat them back, and sometimes I had to repeat them as she said them. I had to organize them in order. I had to recite them backwards.
Shit, that would confuse me.
And I realized very quickly that once you get beyond like 2 or 3, when I say that my short-term memory is damaged, I feel like I'm constantly being gaslit that like I'm over-exaggerating or like it's not that bad. It's really bad. Like she was saying things to me.
That can also be caused by anxiety, caused by trauma.
I was completely forgetting what she was saying by the time she was done listing off these things, let alone trying to reorganize any of it. And so that was just like eye-opening to me. I've always been really bad at like seeing complicated patterns. Like I'm good up to a certain point. Like I'm pretty fast at it actually. When it gets to a certain point and trying to get them in, ever since my concussions and like the past few years especially, like with when I had like newer levels of trauma happen, I was doing all that, and the fluorescent overhead lighting just did me in. Like she told me to take off my sunglasses and my headphones. As soon as I
Oh, that's when it all started to go wrong.
went in, they told me that my follow-up appointment is going to be like December 21st. So it's going to be over a month before I find out. Yeah, I was in there for 3.5 hours. Took one small break. I'm ready for a nap. I'm surprised at how exhausting
Honestly, I would say you earned it.
that was. I wasn't expecting it to be like that big of a deal, to be honest. I mean, I knew it was going to be a lot, like in terms of time or whatever, but I had to do questionnaires that totaled over like 500 questions in total. Well over 500. Not
Well, did we think it would be easy?
including the pre-assessment stuff that I did. They said I may or may not get access to my diagnoses prior to my follow-up on the portal. I don't know. I don't know if it's like because of my memory issues. I don't know if it's because of lack of sleep or the combination of the two. But
Now, why wouldn't you get a good night's sleep before this, girl? Come on.
I like full on like cried halfway through because I felt really stupid. I could tell like when I didn't say I didn't word things in a certain way, she would just be like, "Can you expand on so and so or whatever?" And even though I know that like there's no technically right or wrong answers, I just started beating myself up. I'm so like sensory overwhelmed. Honestly, I might even be driving home in silence. Oh, I'm tired, y'all. I'm like
So go home, girl. Go home then. My God. I wouldn't be sitting in the parking lot filming this.
actually upset because doing this, I found out there's a Krispy Kreme here, and there's no Krispy Kremes where I live.
Girl.
I'm not going to.
You know you want to.
God damn it, I want to. I'm glad today's
So leave.
over. I think I'm feeling better because like today's over. I'm just glad it's done. Whatever
The one thing she had to do today.
happens. I really struggle bust through those tests. So I had to like use a pen and connect like all these like numbers and then letters and then alternating numbers and letters. I did a lot of that, like alternating numbers and letters and numbers, patterns and this and that. And I was just like, damn it. So yeah, as I said, I am glad today's done. I'm actually gonna go. Goodbye.
This is interesting. Oh, I don't have my glasses. Sorry, y'all. The following footage has been clipped from live reaction streams by the lovely Scarred Letter. Okay. Apologies for the jankiness and all the jump cuts.
We're gonna completely reconvene about my treatment plan once I have the fully, assessed situation worked up, whatever I get told. I have an idea of what I think the doctor's gonna tell me, but obviously I'm not the doctor and I could be proven wrong and I could be told other things.
Well, see, the issue is you won't accept that you've been proven wrong.
Doctor confirms that there is some kind of, different treatment route we could go down than based off of my previous diagnoses. So we can try that if she pretty much reconfirms most of the things that we know, plus the additional amount of medication options.
Oh my gosh.
I don't want to share this shit just for pity, but I want to share it because it's the truth. And I feel like a lot of times, unless you're like the pretty digestible version of depression, you just get shit on.
I'm side-eyeing that. Very big generalization.
My depression gets blamed on my weight or my laziness or whatever. And
no, I think your weight and laziness is partially due to your depression.
These mental health issues that I deal with are so all-encompassing that I feel like I've lost my personality in it. I feel like I am just floating and I don't even know who I am anymore. And
Ooh, well, that contradicts what I said earlier about her.
I'm just hopeful that getting these answers and these directions and maybe getting access to that treatment is something that could help.
Rosie, I think having a sense of normalcy will really help that for you. I think it really would, but you're just stuck in the house all damn day.
Me be me again, and I get glimpses of myself. I bring up concerns regarding Ehlers-Danlos syndrome to.
Oh my god. There is no fucking way she has that. Shut up. Shut up. One of my friends growing up, after high school, she was diagnosed with it, and it changed her entire fucking life, dude. Oh my god. She used to go skydiving. She was like a certified skydiver, did it on her own, went with her dad like every fucking weekend. And she had to stop all that because of the diagnosis, and just the treatments wore her body down. And now she, I believe, just lives at home with her mom, basically attached to machinery almost all day.
Like today, the Dr. W, he seemed to be like, okay, like interesting, like that makes sense, because there is a lot of comorbidities with things that I have / believe that I have that I'm still waiting for confirmation on. And
yeah, still waiting on confirmation on is a sketchy saying for me in girl world. Sorry about it.
it makes sense. I would rather know what I'm working with instead of suffering in this unknown hell. I'm excited.
I mean, I hear ya, but again, I'm going to raise the question, are we 100% certain if we didn't try to lose a bit of weight that these issues wouldn't get better? I know people hate to fucking hear that, and I'm not saying that we should, like, wait until that to, like, do testing or just see if something is wrong. But maybe add that in with the mix. Like, it couldn't hurt.
From Manjaro, but I am also dealing with a lot of other shit medically. I have to wait a little bit just so I can get whatever news I'm going to get on the 21st and then cope with it and, not worry about feeling sick on Christmas. There's a lot that I don't know yet. But what I do.
Oh my god. The girls in their crying faces, I can't.
Is that I'm tired of my bullshit. I'm
You know what? Same.
not going to stop fighting. And honestly.
Wait, did she find out? Is that what this is? She found out she was diagnosed not autistic?
Sometimes I just wish more people would be more compassionate. And I'm not a victim in this. I'm not like, oh, woe is me. I just don't know how to cope if there isn't an answer. I'm going to therapy weekly. In fact, the week of my friend.
Okay, well, that's where you learn how to cope.
The results I'm going to be asking my therapist if I can see her the day before, which is our normal session day. I'm going to ask her for a second session that week. I'm not letting myself be a victim and throw a pity party and say I can't do something just because it's hard. Shit's rough, but I'm going to figure it out and I'm going to be okay.
Okay. Will you be okay with not calling yourself autistic anymore?
But if I'm not, because I'm going to make it be that way, even if I have to redefine what my okay is. And that shit's scary as fuck, but here I am. When I set out to vlog, I knew the one thing that was the most important to me was to be authentic, to be real, and where I'm at in life. Or I'm not going to show up at all. And so that's why I don't have a schedule. I needed to take some time away. I needed some time to not be perceived. I need a break from that sometimes. So anyway, I'm going to go. I think that was like the majority of the updates. Right into it, post-appointment. I tried filming this intro the other day and I cried really hard. So my goal is to not cry during the intro because you'll see me cry later.
Oh, Lord.
I don't remember everything that I said because I was in such a tizzy and just so overwhelmed and frustrated. And so there are parts of it, I think I'll just edit it around some because there are parts of it I do want to show, but I was so like disoriented and overwhelmed and hurt and beyond frustrated. So the part that I feel like I want to make sure I communicate like from a clear head is I did go see the psychologist for the follow-up, and the psychologist gave me all the results. I'll go over all the detailed results later in the video. But I was very confused, but my psychologist did all the evals, and during our first appointment, I think I even said that she believed that I would probably fall under the term Asperger's. And I've said this a lot in the past, but...
Well, I mean, that term is considered outdated now, but...
The term Asperger's is basically considered outdated and not really used anymore because of the history behind the name of the scientist that it was named after, and frankly, the damage...
Wasn't he into, like, eugenics and shit?
That it's done to the research of autism as a whole for decades now. And ironically, directly impacting me. My psychologist basically...
See, she doesn't want to be a victim, but everything indirectly or directly impacts her. Gosh, Rosie.
Told me that... Oh, God, I'm going to cry. Sorry. Get over it. Basically told me that I'm probably autistic, but not autistic enough for a diagnosis. And that she thinks that it's almost too difficult to decipher what is the autism versus the trauma. And that...
Okay. See? There's a great deal of overlapping between heavy childhood trauma and signs that could be interpreted as autism.
I have these symptoms.
What we know as autism.
Of autism, but that she can't diagnose me with it. And that is just, that's not a yes or a no. And
okay, fair.
Recommendation, her like professional recommendation at the end of the evaluation is that I get retested in 6 months. So
I understand the frustration with that, Rosie, but sometimes that is, that is what's needed. But you have a starting point. You know that it could either be trauma or the other thing. So why not keep addressing the trauma and how that impacts your ability to socialize and everything?
When all you people out there are hounding like autistic adults who are not diagnosed, who don't have good healthcare like me, that don't have access to healthcare at all, even if you do, you get shit like this because they are not equipped to handle undiagnosed autistic adults because all of the research and everything is so skewed toward pediatric. And
I feel like, again, she's jumping to conclusions.
Heartbroken. And I don't remember how much I did share, but I did talk to my parents. Actually, I recorded a clip after I talked to my parents. So,
of course you did.
I did talk to my parents after. They went better than expected. And so now I'm sitting here like, is it even worth it? Because as she said, and everyone knows that knows anything about this shit, there are no resources for autistic adults. And another thing that she said was that basically because I do not require like one-on-one assistance as an adult to like function, like a caretaker, that was part of the reason why she couldn't diagnose me. And I think the hardest part is like, I can't be like, this woman's a quack, like she sucks. Like, you'll see in the rest of the video.
See? She wants to discredit this doctor so badly when in the beginning she was talking about how much she liked her. Rosie, that's a major red flag in my opinion.
I think she's good at her job. The system's just broken. I've been grieving.
Listen, I'm not discrediting the fact that there are issues with the system in place. 1,000% will agree with that. But isn't that also an easy fucking excuse? Two things can be true at once.
Past few days, because I was just really confident. The doctor made me feel confident. I think that hurts worse. And she basically said I am autistic, just not autistic enough.
Okay. Autistic enough for what, though, Rosie? What is it that you want so badly out of this? Like...
Fucking gross. Anyway, sorry I cried. So, yeah. Hi, welcome to me.
Oh my god.
Just got done with my appointment.
I wish she kept these up. Fuck. At least we're getting a bit of it.
Getting over a month for. I'm going to talk about it. Because I'm just going to be honest. And I'm upset. And I'm angry. And it's not over. Spoiler alert, this isn't over yet. I'm going to take some notes. I'm just going to talk about it because I got a full assessment. And she said my core diagnosis, like a lot of this is not a surprise. A lot of this, pretty much everything here I already knew. So my core diagnosis was my PTSD/CPTSD. And then she said, and like she put it in like a certain order. And she said my next concern was severe anxiety. I guess that's what she diagnosed me with. And then I got a confirmation of PDD, persistent depressive disorder, which is like an overarching long-term diagnosis. I've probably had it since I was like a kid. But then I'm also still diagnosed with major depressive disorder, because she said that you can have both, and that the MDD explains like the hyper intensive episodes of depression that I can go through. But PDD is more of like a persistent, like long-term overarching thing.
Okay, this is a lot. This is a fuck ton.
And then she said that I presented with ADHD combined type, but more impulsive versus hyperactive. So I got 2 depression diagnoses. Yeah, I'm double depressed.
Okay, Rosie, if this is your coping mechanism, whatever, but like, I don't know. She sits there with a little smirk on her face like she's just collecting them. I'm also hesitant to believe that she did so much therapy and whatnot beforehand, but wasn't given any kind of diagnosis like this before, or they're just reiterating.
And of course, the big one. Well, before I get to the big thing, she said that she's ruled out entirely bipolar and PDD. That those were misdiagnoses, that I was right about that.
Okay.
Yada yada. I'm so mad. She told me that.
So all of that validation gets negated by the fact that she did not get the one specific diagnosis she wanted. She was searching for.
Basically, I'm too high functioning to be diagnosed as autistic. She said that I showed symptoms of autism, but based on the evaluations, it was something she's not able to diagnose at this time. And her recommendation at the end of the report is to retest in 6 months.
Damn, again.
Their official recommendation. So, inconclusive. Fucking sick, right?
Again, why aren't you... Jesus, look at her. Why aren't you addressing all that other stuff then? Like, you can still look at anxiety and depression and reflect that to how that makes you feel and how that makes you act. Like, it's not solely autism that's going to have an impact on how you actually process things. It's going to be everything, dude. Oh my god. She's really... Oh. Of course.
Because I'm autistic. I know I am. I'm not delusional. I'm not wrong. I'm not lying. I'm not lying for attention. I'm autistic. And
okay, I don't think the doctor maybe necessarily said you weren't, but like... I don't know, dude. I don't know. Again, even if you are... what's this going to mean for your treatment to actually get better? You know?
I'm so upset. You know, like I'm gonna...
It's a good thing she deleted this. Dead ass.
Gotten in the past. But I think this bugged it, like, it bugged me a little bit. It didn't, like, ruin my day or anything, but it just got into my head. I mean, I think it's, like, a meme, even, that, like, some assholes on the internet will say. It's, like, people have said something to the effect of, like, she's trying to catch diagnoses like Pokemon, you know, or something like that.
Well, I mean...
Where it's just, like, you're just trying to rack up all these diagnoses. It's just, like, no, I'm just trying to understand why I am the way that I am and why I deal with these certain issues in certain ways. And so, I mean...
Okay, I don't think that has anything to do with an actual diagnosis, but...
It's nice to know that I am right, that I'm not bipolar, that she saw no signs of mania, no signs of a lot of things, like, that were good. And she told me that my memory issues had, like, a really wide range and that I clearly had memory problems, but that they were inconsistent. I forgot what test she was talking about. I would range from, like above average to super below average, depending on, like, I think she said environmental factors or something. I don't know. I don't have...
That sounds like an anxiety thing.
Official paperwork yet. We just went over all of it and she has to, like, sign it or whatever. And she told me that there's, like, a section of the IQ test that I took. She didn't give me an exact number. But there's a category called, like, attention and mental control or something. And that was the only thing that was low on my IQ test. And she said that that's because of the ADHD. And so she said if you took that out of the equation, that my IQ was, like, above average. But with the, like, ADHD in full effect, it, like, I guess literally lowers your IQ score.
Okay. Sorry. I think just as a little amber coded. Be like, "You guys, I would have a 140 IQ, but it's the ADHD. Keeping me back."
I thought was interesting, just in terms of like the aspect of how we measure IQ. I find it interesting that apparently having ADHD is considered like a knockdown for an IQ for your IQ. This isn't over.
Well, isn't IQ tests and all that fucking hogwash anyways?
Wanted this to be it. I really, really did. I guess now the question is if I should retest for this.
Like, she distrusts the system so much, but then wants the full trust in it just when it gives her the answers that she wants. It doesn't really work that way.
Same person or not, because I think she's assuming that like the retesting would be with her. And you know, even the one that like asked about retesting, she told me like before I said anything about that was sorry. I'm like light as bright. I'm tired, and I was really mad, and I just sucked.
You freaked out on her, didn't you?
You know, I knew this was a possibility, and I mean, like, honestly, this could have been a lot worse. I've seen people who.
To be honest, I don't even. Listen, this is me realizing that the doctor really didn't even say, no, you're not. So, like. I mean, I guess from the perspective of, like, if you have the diagnosis, then accessing the forms of treatment would be easier. But can't you create a more specific kind of routine, or I don't know, is a routine's the right word, but like consulting it with your therapist, like, and then you can work on a route of action with them.
I've had to go to multiple doctors, and who, you know, because they come across intelligent, because they come across well spoken, they don't get taken seriously, and like it's really like fucked up stuff, even about, you know, like why you can't or should be, you know, you should or shouldn't be considered autistic. And she said something that just really confused me and like made me mad. She kept saying like that, like due to the current, like I guess, like diagnostic material, like she said that previously I would have fallen under Asperger's, which obviously, you know, we know that term is like messed up now. We know the truth behind it, but like I would have fallen under like the high functioning labels. But I guess they've removed those labels. And because they removed those labels, she told me that because I essentially don't need like one-on-one assistance, that she can't diagnose me as autistic.
Okay. So are you just mad that the criteria for diagnosis doesn't fit you anymore? I mean, as things progress, things are gonna, you know. But even with Asperger's, like, I guess I could understand where she is coming from with, like, if something that is considered this low maintenance whatever tier is no longer even considered within the realm of autism because it doesn't have the label or whatever for it, then okay, I could see how that feels very invalidating.
And I was like, what? That's wrong. Like, you can be autistic and not need like one-on-one assistance. Like, I live with my family for a reason. I've tried living.
But you don't seem to like them. So.
On my own. It didn't go well. I need to live with someone.
Did it not go well because Rosie just has a hard time doing shit? Like,
I don't function well in my day-to-day life, like outside of my confirmed stuff. Like,
to be honest, I think you're very poorly conditioned. Like, I just don't think you have much. Now, this is a huge assumption on my part. I just feel like she doesn't have a lot of life experience, dude. So everything has to be like some big thing, you know? When, girl, it could just be a fucking Tuesday.
And I kept like pressing to her how I felt about it. And she was like, I'm not saying you're lying. I'm not saying I don't believe you. She just like, I guess.
Interesting. So you popped the fuck off.
Per the results of the testing, couldn't do it. this isn't over.
Well, I don't know as though she went and got tested again, so interesting.
And I'm still autistic. Like I said.
Dude, she should have known she's going to get clowned for that.
I already know I'm autistic. God, this sucks.
Well, to be fair, she didn't say that you're not. Just said, I can't give you exactly what you want right now, and you threw a fucking fit.
So I just spoke to my parents. I called them because before I post anything online, before I write a Facebook status, before I do anything, and
God, bro, you're so annoying. Sorry, it's so annoying.
I needed to talk to them because, as I've said in the past, that was a major motivator. And I just, in previous conversations I had with my mom, I just felt like my only solution was to get a diagnosis. And maybe it's coming from a wrong place of just really wanting that validation from them. And so I called them and I went over everything. And because like the diagnoses that I have, none of this is a surprise. Like everything, I asked about the PDD because I kind of knew. Oh, I also have a family member. I'm not going to say which one. None of my parents, but there is a family member that I know of that was also diagnosed with PDD. And so, which is the persistent depressive disorder. Anyway, I just talked to my parents and I want to document this for like me, you know, and I was just really scared to tell them this. You know, I went over all the other stuff I just went over, and again, none of this is a surprise to anybody. And I explained to her what the doctor told me. I explained to her that she said I had symptoms of autism, but that she couldn't diagnose me, that she recommended retesting, that she basically told me I fit the criteria for Asperger's, but that she could not diagnose me with it, which is like kind of confusing because I remember earlier on, I think I may have even said this in a video, I thought she told me that she would have to diagnose me with Asperger's. So I don't know what.
Right, but it was framed in the context of like, that's not feasible anymore.
That's about. I don't know if I misheard that or what. I don't know.
No, I think you're misremembering to fit your own agenda.
No, to be honest with you. I'm just very overwhelmed emotionally. And so I explained this to my mom, and my mom goes, well, it sounds like she basically said that because of the powers that be, she can't diagnose you, but that you have Asperger's. Like, that's what my brother was diagnosed with when he was a kid, you know? And I talked to her, and then my mom asked me a question. She asked me, sorry, this is, like, God. Emotional for me. She asked me, like, basically, what do you need a diagnosis for? Like, what
period
are you looking to get out of getting a diagnosis? Or, like, is there a reason? Like, is there something you're trying to get done to get the diagnosis? And I finally was just like, well, not finally. I very quickly was like, if I'm being really honest, I just want you guys to believe me. And
can I be honest? That feels like a waste of resources, but yeah, that's just me.
I started crying. And my dad said, I believe you. Oh, man.
What the fuck is going on, dude? Wow, so she's actually tamed herself down a bit, huh? Good gosh.
Oh, so I don't know if I've mentioned this on the internet, and maybe at some point I'll upload some of these things. I'll make like a little video that I'm okay with the public seeing. But my dad recently digitized all of our videos.
I was about to say it too, to be honest. Ew.
Just tapes from like my early childhood years, and like from when my sister was a baby and stuff. My sister's 4 years older than me.
Whoa, there's another one? What the fuck? I'm learning some shit.
My dad goes, when my dad and or my mom were just like, you know, we've been watching the home tapes. I haven't really watched them yet. And I'll get to the one that I did see in a second because I brought that up to them.
The books, stacking books. Okay.
I see one clip of me. They showed me from when I was like 2 years old around Christmas time, I think. But my parents were like, you know,
I don't even know if I could read a book at 2 years old. I can't remember.
Watching these back, and basically we've been seeing these behaviors now that we know because my brother was 7 when he was diagnosed, and I was 9. So when I was little, they were clueless, like my parents' words. They were clueless. They told me that they saw me being nonverbal. They told me all these things, and my parents basically validated my experiences. And God, I love therapy. I'm so fucking lucky. So many people like me never get that.
Okay, so why is it still so important to you to be labeled as autistic on the internet?
I'm so fucking lucky. Oh my god, I'm a mess. I'm a mess. My mom told me, she was like, I'm kind of scattering around what they said when, because I'm a little discombobulated. But my mom basically told me that she, I guess she had started doing some of her own research, and she said that, like, once you told me some things, and I looked further into it, and girls mask more, and da 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 da. I think, like, behind, like, I guess just not being, like, communicated directly to me, my mom has been looking into it and, like, trying to understand better and making it to where, like,
And isn't that all that you wanted? Isn't it? Well, I think she also wants to use it as an excuse. Because, like, yeah, I think it's driven by her personal things, but I think she also wants to use it as an excuse just for her poor behavior in public.
she's been, like, fact checking what I've been telling her.
Who? Oh, oh, oh.
Right now, I don't know if I'm gonna retest
Sounds like she almost doesn't trust you.
or not. I have time. I have 6 months to decide, right before or longer, because it comes into question, like, financially, is it worth it? If I know I'm autistic, and my parents believe me, and my behaviors line up from when I was a child, I've lived 32 years undiagnosed autistic. Why fight a system that has no solution? I want a diagnosis. I do. I just don't know if it's worth the headache and the confusion. And maybe if I wait a little bit, they'll figure out how to diagnose high-functioning fucking autistic people. I'm still autistic. I was always autistic. Being autistic is not the same as being mentally ill or having some kind of, like, terminal disease, obviously. Being autistic is a way of processing information, and it's a spectrum.
Just like your diagnosed ADHD and symptoms that come from persistent trauma and anxiety.
I told myself over and over again,
all of these things are their own separate spectrums, and how they react to each other is a whole other fucking ball game, dude. And you have some things that really will feed off of each other in ways that I think will highly reflect this type of neurodivergency that you claim.
Regardless of the results, I'm still the same person, the same lived experience. My life became so much better when I started treating myself like I was autistic. When I started giving myself my support needs, when I started using pediatric autism research in conjunction with reparentification techniques and other aspects of, like, self-healing. None of that changes because one doctor couldn't officially put it on paper that I'm autistic. It just really...
Okay. Again, I think she's harping on the label aspect of it too much. She wants to call herself autistic. And it's just like, girl, of all the issues you have, not being labeled autistic, I feel like is probably lower on the fucking list.
That's how controversial self-determination is for autism. My parents believe me, and they were...
Yeah, I believe autism is not something that should be self-determined.
really the only opinion I give a fuck about outside of my own. So...
Okay, so then you got what you wanted then, I guess.
I guess in a way that's a win. Oh, holy shit.
Okay, see, like, I'm catching the vibe that that's really all she wants.
I'm exhausted. And I just woke up an hour ago. Later.
Oh my gosh. This is just the beginning? Nikki, go easy on us, please, girl. Oh my god. Okay, so what I get from this, they did not say no. So, like, I guess it's kind of a double-edged sword, because, like, I do understand how, like, having a name to something and knowing which route to take for, like, treatment or how to process things can make a big difference. I understand that. However, this is not like she had never heard autism before, she's never considered autism before, and they just slapped this on her. That's not what this is. She knows exactly what autism is. She knows exactly the routes to go down for treating it, for basically just like helping you maneuver your way through each day and through certain situations. She knows exactly how to do all that. And she knows where to go to find the resources for it. So what does she need the diagnosis for? Right? And now she's completely stopped. Ever since she got the validation finally from her parents that she clearly fucking craved, she stopped. She's not going and getting retested. And she stopped talking about it, which I think she should do again. She started talking about it again recently. I was like, Rosie, stop. Stop. So, yeah, I don't fucking know. But this video is long enough. My God. I didn't think it would take us this long, but it's always the compilation videos, you know? It's like every single clip, it feels like you have to have something to say for. Thank you so much for tuning on, and you guys keep your eyes peeled for later. There's going to be something special. And maybe we'll do just a quick little recap, because the shit's been hitting the fan over on Amber's channel. Not like any posts or anything, but she was monetized one day, now she's not monetized again. It's so funny. It's so funny. I love it. Anyways, y'all, thank you so much for tuning on in. Hope everyone's having a lovely Wednesday once again. We're going to end it here because it's long enough. All right. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. Like and subscribe. And I will catch y'all in the next one. Take care.